Greetings, Monarch Nation. It is Inside the Huddle, episode 7. Episode 7 seems like it's a long one.
Seems like it's been forever.
Yeah, so my name's Randy Sarge.
My name is Tim McLaughlin.
Yeah, and we got a special guest. He's a recurring guest. He came here like 2 weeks ago. Man's Pete. He's back in. Welcome to the show, Pete.
Nice to be back.
Yep. Thank you for being here with us for another episode. Back here in the ODU studios in the Web Center. Get ready. There's a lot of sports to talk about. Fall sports are winding up, and winter sports are in full swing. So let's get to the weekly ODU sports and professional sports for you this week. For football, as taken from ODU sports, Stephen Williams passed for a career high 240 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Ray Lowry rushed for 168 yards and scored 3 times as ODU football defeated FIU 37-30 Saturday night in Miami. I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of surprised that they actually won this game because FIU been playing really good so far this year.
It's a statement win.
Yeah, especially at home. So a statement win for them to come back. What do you think, Pete?
ODU is actually now 3-1 against FIU. They always seem to be like the thorn in the side of ODU. The only time FIU has beaten ODU is when David Washington got hurt early on in the game.
Yeah,
right. I remember that.
And Stephen Williams, after the rough first couple weeks, he's really come into his own now. He played well, 3 for 230 yards in the first half. He only 3 for 10 in the second half, but Ray Lowry in the running game picked it up, and defense played pretty well. Got a bit dicey at the end with the mistake on the onside kick, but good defense in the whole way. They kept him out of the end zone a lot.
Yeah, I think Stephen Williams is really coming into
He's coming to his own. Yeah, he's coming to his own.
Really getting into the rhythm of things.
Yeah, man. So, as Alex Gardner touchdown run and FIU safety cut the ODU lead to 24-23. I was scared at first watching that game, seeing that it was such a close game during that time. So,
nail biter.
Yeah. So, and then Lowry punched in his third score of the game from a yard out to put ODU on top 31-23. Then a pair of Nick Rice field goals put the score 37-23 before a Tony Gator, the 4th touchdown with 20 seconds left. FIU recovered the onside kick, but the final Hail Mary pass was incomplete. So they came out victorious. FIU got on the board first with Napoleon Maxwell 3-yard touchdown run, but the Mariners came back to tie the score with 9-yard pass from Stephen Williams to Melvin Vaughn, a 60-yard pass from Williams to Isaiah Harper, who's been playing really, really good for them, even when Ray Lowry's been out. So
he stepped up.
He's been stepping up. He set up the score after a defensive stop. Williams hit Harper again, this time with a 39-yard run to set up Ray Lowry for a 40-yard touchdown. These seem like they've been a two-headed monster, both him and Lowry. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
a lot to deal with.
What do you think, Pete? You think they're really good, like as far as Ray Lowry and Isaiah Harper?
Isaiah Harper has been a pleasant surprise this year. 3 kick return touchdowns, including 2 against North Texas.
Yeah.
And he's been a big receiver. He had a couple big catches against FIU.
Mm-hmm.
And Ray Lowry, after the injury, came back, struggled his first week back, and then burst out against Western Kentucky, and now he's playing pretty well.
Yeah, most definitely.
He's going to have to step up more because we don't have Jeremy Cox anymore. So
need a committee, almost needing reserves to step up, too.
Yep. So this going past with this with the news, Ray Lowry, he rushed for his 43-yard career touchdown for more than 100 yards for the 20th time in his career. So this guy's pretty much been like the best ODU running back throughout his whole 4 years. So
he is, period.
He is, like, without a doubt. So he's a great job with him, and he's recognized as a Conference USA Player of the Week. So that's awesome. So up Saturday for 2 p.m., kickoff at SB Ballard Stadium in the last home game of the year as the Rice Owls are coming in to play against ODU, and the Monarchs are favored by 9 points on Military Appreciation Day. So come out, support, and our Monarchs will go for their 3rd win in a row.
And also, let's take into effect that Rice is a 1-win team. Their only win is against winless UTEP.
So ODU, they better show up, because if y'all lose this game,
Senior Day, last home games, like the Oyster Bowl, and all that.
Senior Day, they playing against a team that only won 1 game, and you playing at home. You have no excuse to now win this game.
If we win, we will improve to 5 wins.
Yeah,
1 win away from bowl eligibility.
Bowl eligible. So no excuses. What you think, Tim? Do you think they're gonna come out victorious? What y'all prediction score? What do you think we're gonna win by?
I think ODU is gonna come out well.
I see 3
Take
scores.
early touchdown. I think they win. We're going to score like 28-14, somewhere around that area.
I got 35-21.
And the thing is, next week, if they win this, it is likely they will be facing Middle Tennessee with both teams going for bowl eligibility, which makes the game even bigger.
Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah. I'm saying 41-28.
41-28. You got Vars having 28 points?
No, I'm saying us.
I know, but I mean, they're one team, so I mean, 28. You get 28 points.
Our defense has been a bit shaky, so
it could happen though. It could happen.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I got 28.
I have us winning by 2 to 3 scores, but
you don't know what they do.
I don't know. Yeah, if it's gonna be a low scoring game or high scoring game because it's inconsistent.
Right. I got you on that. Now I think that's it for football. Now men's soccer. Tim will give you the news.
Yeah. Now moving on to men's soccer. The men's soccer team are Conference USA champions. Hoopy came out during the tournament at the soccer complex to see our Monarchs beat Charlotte 1-0 in the championship game last Sunday. It was a great game and very well attended by over 800 fans. And as the 2 seed, we won our first game 2-0 against South Carolina. Then we beat the 6 seed Marshall 1-0, and then finished the tournament offense style against Charlotte in the championship game. And our Monarchs won their second Conference USA title in school history.
For y'all both went to the game. How was that environment for them?
I actually was down on the sidelines.
Oh, okay. You was working.
I was there.
Yeah.
It was a very good there, especially a certain fan named Ollie who was just yelling at the refs every single time.
He's into it. He's got signs and all that.
Well, he did last time, but usually doesn't. But basically, he apparently his reason he comes to games, he just likes to yell at refs.
Oh, okay.
But
he's really into it.
He managed to get himself ejected from a game this year.
I was actually looking at the wrestling roster yesterday, and I can't believe that he's a redshirt freshman. And Pete, he's a redshirt freshman.
Wurstenberg, is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about Ollie. Like the wrestler. You know who I'm talking about?
He's big. Jesus.
I know. I thought he was junior or senior.
I think he's a senior. He's younger than me.
I know. Wow. I mean, it says on the
Or he's our age, actually. He'd be our age, actually.
Yeah. It says on the ODU website. Yeah, but anyways.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, anyways.
Wrestling, you got to be big.
I mean, you got to be big and strong.
You got to have that strength. You got enough strength by deciding to go out in 30-degree weather in shorts.
Wow.
That is for sure. Yeah, our lone goal in the championship match came in the 28th minute by Nico Klosterhoffen. He dodged a Charlotte defender and blasted one past the 49ers goalkeeper. And each keeper had 2 saves. And ODU has the 3 Conference USA titles as a university, 2 for men's soccer and 1 by women's golf. And all of us need to remember that our 2 men's soccer tournaments have both been won on our turf. The last time we won the tournament was what was the year?
2014.
Yeah, 2014.
Damn, been that long.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's only a few years.
Yeah, only a few years. Yeah, and our keeper's having quite the year. He tallied his 4th straight shutout at that point in time, and collected 9 shutouts for the 2017 season thus far, and 4 shutouts is the most since 2006. And
he actually made it 5 last night against NC State.
They last night they played NC State in the first round of the NCAA tournament, and our Conference USA Championship Monarchs ended up winning 2-0. So
they played a brilliant game.
I think it was
they were ready. They were ready, and they probably could have won by 5.
Oh wow!
It was the most dominating game I've seen this season.
That's great for them. That's really great.
It was amazing. So, 5 shutouts in a row, 10 for the year. Defense getting their job done. Offense contributing as well.
They got a really tough matchup there.
Yeah, they move on to face Indiana on Sunday afternoon, who's the number 2 overall seed in the NCAA tournament, and they have not lost a game this year. They're 15 wins, 0 losses, and 5 ties. So that should be quite the test, but... didn't they last time they were in the tournament, Pete?
They actually ended up facing the number 1 overall seed in the second round, and they took them to overtime.
Yeah,
for losing 1-0.
So hopefully we can repeat that magic. I don't know, But yeah, I mean, we had 10 shots. They had 5 and 6 corners, and NC State had 2. So, yeah, I mean, it was quite the effort. Now we're gonna move on to some basketball.
Yep. Men's basketball for OU. They opened the season on the 2017-2018 campaign with a couple of victories. The first was a home game open against Townsend. I actually went to that game. It was a good game for them to start off the season against a good Townsend team that's in the CAA, I think, conference, and they're like second in that conference. So for them to beat them, it was a really good game. I think overall.
They were in the CAA themselves just a few short years ago.
4 years ago, so they already know how they play.
They know all the CAA teams quite well.
Very well, yeah. So I remember when VCU was on there, and like I said, Townsend,
George Mason, all the good old rivals.
Those good rivals.
James Madison.
So they're pretty familiar with the way they play. So for them to come out victorious in the opening season was really good. Let's see. First, the Monarchs never trailed in the second half. And it led as many as 9 with 11:38 to play in the contest over a 3:28 span, starting at the 4.14 mark. Townsend went up on the 9-0 run and to trim the deficit to 55-54. I remember like during that game because they wasn't really scoring. Like I seem like now I would expect because OU has always been their basketball team has always been known as a good defensive team. Jeff Jones he always plays them really hard on defense, but when it comes to on the offensive side, they don't really have a lot of good scoring, but that's what led them to have the 9-0 run.
I'm hoping that's going to change.
It should change. I mean, they got a lot of good athletic players. I mean, BJ still has been playing good.
Caver, he's on the first team.
Xavier Woods yesterday against Temple, he had career high 15 points.
15 points, he's a redshirt player.
Michael Hewitt Jr. had a great game yesterday as well.
Yeah. So.
Aaron Carver had 14 yesterday.
Yeah, career high in points and rebounds.
Yeah, so he's been playing good.
ODU just finished off a 62-44 win against Indiana State.
Yeah.
Mont Caver with 22 points.
Okay, that was great. Mont Caver's been playing good too, so he's stepping up. You know, him being a junior point guard for them, he's been playing pretty good for them.
He's got to take the leadership role.
He got to. I mean, him, Rainey Haynes, Trey Porter, all those guys.
All those.
Yeah, the Stiff brothers. They all got to play good. So, I mean, they both playing. Their ODU basketball has been playing good. What are they 3-1 right now?
3-1 right now. See what we can do.
If they actually if they hadn't struggled yesterday at the start, they probably should have won yesterday, but they got unlucky.
Yesterday because they came back.
There were some terrible calls by the refs.
Yeah.
But they came back from 19 points down to cut it to 1. They just couldn't finish off the comeback at the end.
Yeah, I mean, they showing resiliency. They showing the good.
You couldn't come back. You can't get down 19 points and expect to win.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, even so, they played great against Temple, and Temple is moving on to the championship in the Charleston Classic. So
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
fifth place, here we come.
hopefully third place if that's possible.
We can only get fifth place because we lost in the first round.
Right. So I mean, yeah, they've been the basketball team is playing really good. Like I said, they're 3-1. They should have been 4-0 if they came back and they win. If they came back against Temple, but now we just got to see how it go for the basketball team.
Yeah, I mean, we got a ton of potential.
Really.
I think they will definitely be a challenger for the NCAA tournament this year.
You really think so? You really think they can win the Conference USA?
I think they can. They return.
Middle Tennessee is still good.
Middle Tennessee is always going to be there. There's no doubt about that. Middle Tennessee's going to be there.
Right. Middle Tennessee is.
But I do think that ODU can win at least 13 conference games this year.
Yeah.
And I think they're definitely one of the top 3-4 teams in the conference.
Oh, they definitely is. But it seemed like for them to actually be a conference team, to be in the tournament, they got to win the conference.
We got to.
I mean,
there's
we made the NIT back in 2015, but that was because we had an amazing regular season.
We had a great team. We was ranked 25th in the country.
Our conference is no conference that gives out at-large bids.
Not at all.
Unless you are really, really good.
Unless we lose like 2 or 3 games, then most definitely. But the only time you're going to see
maybe I think you'd have to win every game until the championship game. Lose that if you want to get in a large bid with a conference like USA.
You really have to least because for 2 or 3 teams to make it out of that conference, you really got to lose a good 2 or 3 games.
Because the problem with our conference is that we don't schedule like Power 5 teams in non-conference games.
Exactly.
I mean, there's like one
guy.
guy.
Who do we play though? Do we play anybody that's non-conference? That's like a good team. This year?
I mean,
Because I know last year we played Louisville.
I don't know who
So I
we
don't know
played.
anybody
We
else.
almost beat Louisville
We
last
almost
year.
beat Louisville. Yeah, I remember during that
I
time.
was so
I remember-
annoyed because
yeah.
it's like, let's miss all the free throws.
Yeah,
That's still a problem.
That-
That's still a problem now.
Free
went to
throws is.
I went to the Townsend game and they was missing like 5, 10
yeah. I
free
went to
throws.
the scrimmage against CNU where they missed.
They still
so
with some
many.
free throws too?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm just saying, like, they could have beat Louisville last year. I remember when I think they went to the NIT, they beat LSU. So, I mean, they got a good team. They can beat.
They beat LSU in a early season
It was
tournament,
a tournament,
that year.
yeah. I remember. I
Yeah,
think they
yeah.
went to Hawaii or something.
Virgin
It was
Islands.
Virgin Islands,
yeah,
yeah. I remember
Virgin Islands,
like
yeah.
Atlantis or something like that. So, yeah, I mean,
I mean,
still got
I don't
a
know
good team.
who's on their schedule after this week,
Yeah,
but
who
if
do they play? Do they play anybody that's
Yeah.
like a out of conference?
They will face either Ohio or Dayton tomorrow.
okay,
Okay.
well, if they play Dayton, then that'll be a.
They can win that.
That's
they can-
A10. That's a really good thing. They have VCU coming up as well.
Yeah.
They play
William
at
and
VC
Mary, Richmond.
Do they play over
It's
here?
in Richmond.
Oh, is it in Richmond? Oh,
Yeah.
because last year they played. They could have won. I remember.
Yeah,
last year,
that
they
was
coulda
that
won
was
game.
they
were up.
missed
That
so
was
many
close.
free throws in
They
that
were-
game. There
they
were
were up.
13 of 28 in free throws in
They
that
were
game.
Yeah.
up by like 20.
They're up by
Just-
11, just 11.
It felt like 20 when I was watching it.
And they just decided,
They
like,
came back.
let's miss all the free throws. Clink, 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 clink.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's what happens when you're under pressure.
I could
You
have
gotta,
believed
you
it.
gotta simulate that in practice or something.
Like
I
Mo
don't
Ali
even know.
Cox from VCU was just making everything.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was getting dominating Brandon Stiff every time.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean,
No, I mean, with like reserves stepping up, like Aaron Carver and the Stewart, I think we should be
we got a good
pretty
team.
good
We really got a good
We're not
team.
just no one-sided defensive
we-
team. I think we got a
We will
chance to be
strap
a
up
good
anybody.
offensive team
We will
too.
strap up anybody on defense.
We've got a bit of better shooting this year. Last year, the problem is, like, some games we go out there and shoot, like, 29%, and you can't win if you shoot
can't
like
win.
that.
I know.
You got. I mean, defense. They said defense wins championships.
When they played William and Mary last year, they shot 20 for 66.
When they say defense wins championships, it's true. But
That's
at the
about
same time,
that's
you have to
almost
put up
under
points.
30%
Yeah.
shooting.
You
Especially
have to
like
put
on
up
the
points.
transitions too.
Exactly.
You gotta steal and block and all that stuff.
Exactly. So, I mean, like I said, they have the talent, they have the roster to be a NCAA tournament team, NIT type of team. They can do it. We just gotta see if they can, instead of talk about it, be about it. So we'll see how it
We'll
goes.
see
We'll see.
what happens from here.
Yeah. So now, Tim, you got the wrestling. Or
Women's basketball.
women's basketball. Oh wow.
Yeah, you see it?
I see it now. Yeah, my bad, fellas and
Yeah,
gents,
yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. For women's basketball, our ladies opened the season last Friday with a tough matchup against Liberty Flame and wound up with a short end 63-55 because they had the doubleheader game.
Yeah, I went to the beginning of that game.
Yeah, how did that go? What was wrong? How did they come out short?
I think that Liberty just had a good offense, and they had like a zone defense, so it was hard for the Monarchs to like attack that zone.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some transition buckets and some 3-pointers, but it was hard for them to like attack that zone.
Right. I mean, they got a new coach, so they're still trying to get acclimated to everything.
High expectations.
Yeah, high
in the first
expectations
year.
when you have a new coach. So, I mean, this new coach we have is a good coach, but it's still early in the season.
I mean, they were down by a lot and ended up cutting it to 8 at the end, so it wasn't.
Oh yeah, it's still they gotta get the chemistry going. There's a new roster, new players,
New everything.
New everything. So they pretty much starting fresh. So, yep. So
Yeah, I mean there was some good stuff in the game, but yeah, and then next our Monarchs.
Yeah, they play George
playing
Mason.
George Mason today, actually, or right now, in a 4-team
Good luck to them.
constellation. What?
I was just saying, good luck to them.
Yeah, good luck to them
Yep.
in the WNIT preseason tournament. And
They are at the halftime. They were down 31-26.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
They are 6 of 12 from 3 though.
Okay.
That's good. That's
nice.
good. They
That's
can shoot
nice.
3. So
So then they're gonna play either Southeast Missouri State or St. Francis of Pennsylvania on Saturday at 12 o'clock at George Mason. And personally, I am not that familiar with either of those two teams, but I think that they should beat.
they should win that
whoever
game.
those-
Hopefully, God
yeah.
willing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you got the wrestling.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna talk about some wrestling. Our wrestlers have been busy so far, opening up the season. The ODU wrestling team defeated Gardner Webb 30-3, and then fell to number 24 nationally ranked Northwestern 17-16 last Sunday afternoon in front of over 500 fans at the TED. And the highlight of the day was nearly defeating Big Ten team and number 24 ranked Northwestern. Although down a starter at 184 pounds, ODU rallied until the very last minute picking up a major decision against Northwestern. Alex Madrigal defeated Alec McKenna 12-1 at 141 pounds. And in front of a big home crowd, the Monarchs defeated Gardner Webb pretty easily. Monarchs won every match except for one in that matchup. And next up is the Navy Classic in Annapolis, Maryland on Saturday, followed by the Wolfpack Open on Sunday in Raleigh, North Carolina. So, yeah, these guys don't really have a break. They got it pretty busy before Thanksgiving break. A couple invitationals right back-to-back this weekend. So,
good luck to
them.
Yep. Major League Baseball.
Yeah, now on to the
professional
national level, pro sports. And the Major League Baseball announced the Cy Young winners and MVP winners recently. And Corey Kluber of the Cleveland Indians and Max Scherzer of the Washington Nationals won the Cy Young awards respectively. And they were, best pitchers in the leagues. Had some pretty great regular seasons and all that. I'm sure they would trade those awards for some championships, but it is what it is. And other individual awards include the AL and NL MVPs given out to Jose Altuve and Giancarlo Stanton, who are both first-time MVP winners.
All right, now
cue the triggered Yankees fans.
Yeah, not for Giancarlo Stanton, right? I'm hearing that he's trying to get traded. Was he trying to get traded, or
they were thinking about it? He said Derek Jeter said there's no guarantee that he's going to leave, but it is a possibility.
Yeah, they said
it's still in the works.
Yeah, they said there's no trade clause, but I think they say he could get traded to what team is it that I heard?
Probably the Dodgers. They
said
throw
the
money
Dodgers,
at everything.
Yeah, they said the Dodgers or the St. Louis Cardinals, but he don't want to go to the Cardinals.
Why do they want to go to the Cardinals?
Well, I think both parties have to agree. So, if he doesn't want to go there, then he's not going to go there.
He could. If he go, he can win now with them. If he goes there,
what?
He can go. He can win now if he go to the Cardinals. Right?
The Dodgers more likely, but
the Dodgers.
The Cardinals they had a little bit of a year, so but.
Yeah, but bringing him it will probably be better. But they will give him. They will throw him money too. I think.
We'll see what happens because that's like a work in progress. Kind of thing.
Yeah, that's crazy. Also, Matt Scherzer. I remember. I think last week me and you made our predictions, and I had Scherzer. We both had Scherzer winning. We came out victorious on that. Kluber's played really good for the Indians.
And you got to give credit back to the MVPs to Giancarlo Stanton for the regular season he had because he was just hitting home run after home run. He was
59 home runs this year.
Yeah, something like that.
So
one of the best regular seasons ever.
I believe it's the most since Bonds at 73.
That's crazy that he got all the home runs, but their team's not that good.
It's not that good.
Why are they not good though? If you got all them home runs, what's the reason?
Well, they did lose Jose Fernandez last year, unfortunately.
Rest in peace to him. Yeah, he was a good pitcher for them. So
their pitching is subpar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they got to get some guys in the off season, but they're okay.
New ownership. Team. The owner of the team isn't exactly the best businessman. He's more business than player talent.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
which is basically everybody these days.
Yeah. Yes, but Giancarlo Stanton. He might go. I see him probably going to the Dodgers because if he goes there, they're gonna be in the World Series again. Y'all got them. Since the season's over, do you have Pete? Do you have them in the World Series next year? Even though it's still kind of early to say. Hello,
Pete.
Yeah, I was saying you had. You think since it is early in the season, who you have who do you think is gonna be the top teams in the MLB this year?
Well, I think it's gonna be AL. Houston's gonna be back up there.
Yep.
The Yankees, unfortunately, are gonna be up there.
Who did they hire anybody yet?
Do not think so.
I don't recall.
The Red Sox, they got a new manager. They probably will be up there.
Yeah,
again.
I was hearing that since when they let go of Joe Girardi, I remember I think their owner or their GM, I think Brian Cashman was saying how he was gonna let him go anyway. Even they went to the World Series and they won it this year. He was still
really.
He
said it was already a done deal.
It was pretty much a done deal. I think they've been having friction for the past couple of years now. So that's what they.
Even if they had won,
even if they won it this year, they would have let him go. So that's crazy.
That's because they had quite the year.
That's crazy.
So I don't know about that.
That's wild.
I
I think he's just saying it because they didn't win it, so he was just saying it. But if you do that, that's crazy. But who knows?
Yeah.
But
It's the Yankees. Everything they do is crazy.
everything they do is crazy. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Little bit of rule breakers.
Yeah. Now we're done with MLB. Now we're heading into NFL. We about halfway through the year. That's crazy. That it's kind of been like it seemed like just like the last 2 weeks ago we was talking about like who we had in the high seat in the first two games and predictions. And so now we're already halfway in the year and the Patriots, the Steelers, the
Philadelphia. They came out of nowhere this year.
They're 8-1. I mean, there's a lot of great teams playing well. The Chiefs been inconsistent here and there. The Patriots been playing good. They started off not good. Now they're like one of the best teams in the league. In the AFC, rather. And so a lot of surprises, like with the Eagles being good, like we said, and even the Giants being terrible.
I think the Giants were predicted to have a pretty good season.
They were pretty much supposed to win the.
They're supposed to be the challenger for the Cowboys. The Eagles and Redskins supposed to be down there.
And now it's completely different.
Oh, they let go of.
I'm glad that Ezekiel Elliott finally dropped his whole thing because even if he kept doing it, he was still going to get 4 games off, and it's a possibility that he still would get.
I think he just said, forget it. Like, at this point, I'm not going to. I'm coming as hurt.
I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to.
He's probably already ruined his team's playoff hopes.
Maybe.
We come back. He'll be back in like the last 3 weeks of the season. I think to the regular season. So they might not. By that point, they still might make it to the
wild card. Might have some meaningful games when he comes back. But
So it's been shocking. I mean, the Saints been playing good as well. That's a surprise team.
Yeah, usually they just have a terrible defense, and Drew Brees tries to carry him everywhere.
But now he's just running the ball.
Actually, Drew Brees is having one of his worst career years in passing yards.
I mean, he's not really throwing the ball that much.
I know,
they pretty much just.
Ingram is finally playing like he was supposed to play out of Alabama.
Alvin Kamara's been playing really good. I was surprised. He was a third-round pick.
AP stayed there for about 3 weeks and was like, I don't want to do anything here.
And now look what once they left.
He left. They've been really good.
They've been playing really good. So
the Vikings are also playing really well with Case Keenum. Case Keenum, he's not really a good quarterback.
I don't even want to talk about Case Keenum, man.
Yeah, he tore up the Redskins last week, didn't he?
I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, that was.
And Adam Thielen is like, oh
who?
God, Adam Thielen, number 19 from the Vikings.
Oh,
that guy's stereotypical white slot receiver.
He's probably. I think since it's. If the season ended right now, he's top 5 best receiver in the league.
You think so?
Yeah, he's like top 3 in receiving yards.
He's really good, yeah.
So he had Josh Norman looking like a peewee cornerback. Like this guy was like
high
school JV freshman
cornerback. I don't even know what happened, but
he had him looking terrible. He had Breland looking terrible.
Having a pretty good year.
Vikings having a really good year. I mean, they still. I mean, even though Case Keenum playing good, I mean, I heard like Mike Zimmer. He's still debating if he want to put him or Teddy Bridgewater in the game.
I think as long as Keenum keeps playing well, play Keenum.
Yeah,
I'm saying he throw at least one pick, and if he throw at least one pick, he's gonna take him out, and he's gonna put Bridgewater.
No, I don't think so. Maybe one bad full game, maybe.
I mean, but I think
not one pick. He's played phenomenally this year.
What do you mean at least one pick? Like at least one pick in
the game.
Oh yeah. In the game.
Give me 2.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Teddy Bridgewater hasn't played in more than a year and a half.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, that's true. But I remember throughout this whole week, Mike Zimmer was like debating, like he was saying he don't know who he's going to announce as quarterback for this week.
Really? So he's like waiting till the last minute?
But no, he said Case Keenum starting this week.
Oh, okay. True.
Throughout, even like I think through Monday through Thursday, he'd been saying he was like kind of like indecisive of who he wanted to bring in.
Yeah, I mean, if he melts down in the game, then.
If it's I mean, who they play the Rams, right?
Yeah.
If it's a blowout game,
pretty big game.
If they up by 21, if the Rams are up by at least 3 touchdowns, Teddy Bridgewater's coming in the game.
Yeah, easily.
It's gonna happen.
Maybe even if it's the other way around, because it probably like gets Teddy some game experience, getting him back into the flow because he's been out for so long.
I mean, they drafted him in the first round for a reason. They wanted him to be the quarterback. That's the reason. They wanted to be the franchise quarterback. So bringing them in, it was just get him into game shape and get him into like the game atmosphere because he hasn't played in like a year and a half. So that would be great for him. You know what I mean? So yeah.
He's been practicing and getting back.
He's been practicing.
How about the Rams though?
The Rams been playing
from the worst offense in the league last year to the best scoring offense in the league this year. 32.9 points per game.
Sean McVay's been playing good, but at the same time, they also have had an easy schedule throughout this year. They haven't really played. They beat the the Cardinals, the Giants,
Texans.
the Texans.
Yeah, some not so good teams.
I mean, the only good statement win that they beat was who? The Cowboys. They played.
They beat the Cowboys at the Cowboys.
At the Cowboys. When,
I guess.
So I mean, that was early. That was like the first 3 games of the year. But I mean, so far, who else have they played? I mean,
they lost to the Seahawks.
The Seahawks it was at the Coliseum. The only team they lost to was my Redskins and the Steelers, and they could have won that game too. The Steelers game. I remember Cooper Kupp, he dropped an easy touchdown that game, so they could have won that game. So I mean, yeah, they're a good team, but
the Rams only have 2 losses.
Yeah,
we'll see what
Rams
happens
have 2 losses,
when
but
the
next
Redskins and Seahawks.
Yeah, but I think as the season goes, they're gonna have a harder schedule because they play the Vikings this week, and they also play the Saints. Yeah,
they have to play Seahawks again as well.
And they also play Seahawks again. So
play them twice.
yeah, they have to play them twice. So I mean, and they don't really play in a good.
See, I mean, basically their first half is a lot easier than their second half.
I mean, yeah, because then do they still have to play the 49ers again? Because they already beat the 49ers. I remember on the Thursday night game. Do they play the 49ers again?
I don't think they've played them again yet. I think they play them later in the season.
Later on, okay.
I mean, if they do, they should still beat them.
They're gonna beat them. I'm saying that's an easy schedule right there. That's an easy schedule right there. So
the 49ers' first win was against the Giants.
Yeah, that is true. So I mean, and we could also talk about the Cowboys and how they got their butt spanked against the Falcons.
Yeah,
and Dak Prescott was like on the
The
swivel.
offensive line for the Cowboys was just like,
I mean,
come on in.
Tyron Smith didn't play. Tyron Smith didn't play. And pretty much all those sacks that Adrian Claiborne, who has been throughout his whole career.
Yeah.
He's been throughout his whole career. He has 6 sacks. This guy might make it to the Pro. He might make it to the Pro Bowl off these sacks. So
if the Falcons can stop blowing second half leads, they'd be one of the best teams in the country.
Exactly. I mean, they still have a problem with doing that. They would prior to the Super Bowl. They were doing that anyway.
I'm not trying to make fun of them. It's just the truth.
That's a fact.
They had that Super Bowl in the bag until that comeback happened.
It always comes back to 28-3.
Most definitely, yeah. So they've been. What we talking about? The Cowboys. I mean, Adrian Claiborne. He can make it to the Pro Bowl off those 6 sacks he had. But all those sacks came from that left side of the field when Tyron Smith didn't play. So, I mean, I think we said last week that we're gonna see, since Zeke is not playing, we're gonna see how Dak really.
That's the big question mark.
Really shows
how he
is.
Does without
how he does.
Zeke.
So
because they're the 1-2 punch, but
exactly.
now it's kind of like. The passing game.
Now they rely on him.
Alfred Morris or something.
Yeah, Alfred Morris, Derek McFadden.
Not that good. They don't really have any good running backs.
Exactly. So they're not nobody's Zeke. So on that roster. So I mean, and now let's also we're going to go back to the Cowboys, but what y'all think about Tyrod Taylor being benched and they bringing in Peterman?
Stupid decision.
Very stupid.
They are in the middle of a playoff push, and they're going to take out their starting quarterback and put him a rookie.
Yeah.
Yes. He's a good quarterback.
He said, I think I read an article, he was saying how, I mean, as far as like with his position being a black quarterback and a mobile quarterback, the margin of error is so low. Like pretty much you can't make that much mistakes. Because a lot of quarterbacks can make the same mistakes that he had, have the same stats that he had that are not his, his skin complexion, I guess, and they will still be in the field. But his type of play, he's not that tall of a quarterback. He's like 6 feet, 6'1".
Yeah, but I mean, he still makes plays.
He makes plays. And they're 5-4. I think they're 6th seed in the wild card. So if they see the ending right now, they'll be in the playoffs.
They're in the hunt.
He had one bad game against a very good New Orleans Saints team.
But so what?
I mean, the guy was 9 for 18 for like 50-some yards.
Yeah.
A couple picks.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a bad game. Every quarterback has bad games.
Yeah,
but they're 5-4. They're not a bad team. So for them, I think they.
But they did lose to the Bengals.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's your Bengals. Your Bengals.
I just want to see.
What do you think about? Oh, speaking of Bengals, what do you think about Vontaze Burfict getting ejected off that game? Like,
well, I wasn't able to see it because I was working the soccer championship at the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. But like, did you see the video of it that happened? Did you see? Like, you see it?
I have not seen the video. No.
Oh yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if
it wasn't that bad though, because like I think he
claims that the officials keep triggering him, like trying to set him off.
Right. I mean, he's a target. I mean, because he has a history of.
I feel like he's made dirty plays over his career.
Yeah, so when he does dirty,
there's no question he's made dirty plays.
He does. Yeah.
There was no excuse for that hit on Antonio Brown.
That was dumb. They could have won that game.
They should have won that game. Jerry Hill doesn't fumble like an idiot.
Facts, yeah, that's facts. But at the same time, like, it wasn't that bad. I remember, like, I think he was getting in a little tussle with one of the opposing players.
I think so.
And the ref tried to, like, break it up. But he had his arm around Vontae's birthday, and he kind of, like got him off him. But it wasn't like he pushed him or, like, you know, get off me. It was just kind of like it scooted away from him. Yeah. And he just threw a flag and just kicked him out the field.
Like, it wasn't as bad as they made it seem.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. But yeah, it's crazy.
So he's always going to be on thin ice, considering.
Yeah, most definitely. Oh, also for speaking of the Bengals, what about what AJ Green and the Jalen Ramsey whole debacle? What do you think about that when he got ejected as well 2 weeks ago?
I think it's a combination of frustration over the season and Jalen Ramsey thinking he's better than everybody else.
Yeah, I mean he's good. He's a good corner.
I know. I mean, you gotta give him credit, but
he got burnt on that play. Did you see when he it was like a long touchdown? He had a touchdown. He was wide open for a deep pass, and Andy Dalton threw it out of bounds. So yeah, it was bad.
Why?
It wasn't like
communication or something.
No, like he was throwing it to him.
Yeah,
he wasn't like he was scrambling. He just threw it out of bounds. He was throwing it to him, but the ball just sailed out of bounds. It was like overthrown. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Bengals. I don't know, but
that basically describes the Bengals this year.
Now let's do some predictions for this key matchup games. The Rams and Vikings. They play at Vikings. We talked about the Vikings and how good they play with Case Keenum, and their defense has been outstanding. Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, they playing really good. The Rams, of course, they're a good team. Todd Gurley, TJ 400. That's what they call him. I don't know why, but
what? TJ what?
400. Like on some YG 400. Like you ever YG? Like it's like TG 400. I don't know. So yeah, he's been playing good on the receiving side and the rushing side. What's it called? Robert Woods been playing like a top 5 receiver as well, having like 100-yard games for like 3 weeks. The defense playing good with Aaron Donald, so Ogletree. So I mean, I got my prediction. I still got the Vikings win again because it is at home. You know, they always play well at home. So I don't know. I still am not sure with the Rams. I mean, because it's still the Rams.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So
the Vikings, the Rams are traditionally
not that good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They haven't been good since Kurt Warner and
since
Marshall
forever
Faulk
ago.
And Terry Holden, those guys was on the field. So I don't know. I got the Vikings winning. If they do win, it's going to be a 10-point game. I got them, at least I got them winning 20-10. That's my prediction. What y'all got?
I just think that the game is a toss-up. It's a pretty good matchup, but I have the Vikings winning by 1 score.
1 score? Vikings win 1 score?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool. What you got, Tim? I mean, what you got, Pete? Who you got winning?
I think it's at Vikings, right?
Yeah.
I think Vikings at home, they're going to get it.
Vikings at home?
By at least 3 points.
3 points, close game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Now another game we got was key matchup is Redskins versus the Saints. This is a very, very big game for my Skins.
They have to
pretty much. If we don't win this game, the season's over with. So we got to win this game at Saints. The Redskins, they could have. It was still a close game against the Vikings, even though we were down by a lot. We had a couple opportunities, but I mean,
they were just down by too much to come back.
If we can stop the two-headed monster and Ingram and Alvin Kamara, we can come out victorious. I got faith in the team. I mean, Terrell Party's not going to play. Jordan Reed's not playing. So he's got a couple of questionable players. I think like Trey Williams, he's questionable.
We need some other guys to step up.
Other guys to step up. So, I mean, I think Robert Kelly, Fat Rob, he's out for the year. So, yeah, he's out for the year. So, yeah, I mean, we kind of banged up right now as a unit. So
yeah, we've been banged up the whole year.
Yeah, but
how many injuries we've had.
Yeah, and the Saints been like you said, we've been playing really good. So I hope we win, but I won't be surprised if we lose. So I'll say that we will win. Close game, 27-24. That's my prediction. What y'all got?
I mean, I'm saying similar thing. 3-point game. I guess I'm gonna have to go with the Skins. I'm hoping that they're gonna win, but I know that the Saints are a lot better team at this point in time.
Yeah.
So I really don't know, but I mean, I'm just about to say Skins 34-31. Hopefully, hoping for it, but unlikely.
Yep.
I see Saints by at least 17.
So, wow. That's a pretty bold prediction there.
Very, very bold.
Let's see,
my friend.
Who?
Oh
oddball here with this one.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm different. I don't follow area teams. I'm more in the northern area for some reason.
Yeah.
But be honest with you, Pete, I wouldn't be surprised if they win by
Same.
17. So what you just said was not blasphemy. It's probably more logical that could happen. So
I mean, it's all about who gets off to a better start. To me.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I think you need to get off.
It don't really matter. The Redskins will be off to a great start like that, and they'll still lose. So
I know, but I mean, you gotta get off to a good start and keep the lead, though.
they won't do that. The Redskins are prone to not do that. So they let the Redskins be up by 17 points in that early in the game. Watch, it's not going to be the same. They won't keep sustain that lead. It will be a close game if that happens.
Yeah, unless they come up with some turnovers
most definitely.
or something. It's not gonna happen.
Yep. Now, for another game is Patriots versus the Raiders. Raiders had a good. I mean, they also had a bye week this week. Prior to that, they had a really good game. I forgot who they played the last two weeks ago that they beat. Dang, I forgot. But
I don't even know.
I forgot. But they had a good win. Yeah, I mean, they playing really, really good so far. The Patriots, of course, they've been playing good. Marcellus Bennett, he's back with the team. That was so crazy. Do you see the whole situation with Marcellus Bennett? He was put on IR with the Packers, and then they cut him, and then now he got cleared by waivers to go with the Patriots.
I think he just wants Aaron Rodgers got hurt. He's like, I'm not playing with Hundley.
Yeah, you don't want to
play.
I think that's what I was thinking. I bet you.
Once they get to a winning
everybody was
team.
saying that. Everybody was saying that. I was thinking the same thing. Like, man, he don't want to play with no Brett Hundley. Who want to play with Brett Hundley? So
he wants to play with like a franchise quarterback.
Of course, and Brett Hundley, Tom Brady. Brett Hundley, Tom Brady. Who? I mean, come on, pick your poison. You obviously gonna go with Tom Brady. So I knew once he got cut, he was hoping that the Patriots would pick him up, and clearly they did. He came and played that same Sunday. That Sunday that week that he got cut, that same week he played. So
that's crazy.
It's crazy. So I got, of course, the Patriots win this game by 14 points. I got it 31-17. I got that. That's my prediction. What y'all got?
I'm saying Patriots winning by 20 points, 34-14.
34-14?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you on that. Yep. What about you, Pete? What you got?
Patriots are just too good. At least by 10 or more.
10 or more?
Okay.
Got
Okay.
it. Now, Eagles and Cowboys. This is going to be a really, really great game. I think it's a Sunday night game, primetime game. Cowboys, we talked about earlier, they
because it's in Dallas, right?
It's in Dallas.
Yeah.
This is like the Eagles' true test of like playing a really good team in a long time. The last time they played a good team was when they played against the Chiefs in the second week of the season. So,
and they lost that.
And they lost that game. So
they haven't had that.
They haven't had a really
tough of a schedule.
They haven't tough of a schedule so far. These first 9 games.
Weeks
so
to come, maybe.
yeah. So I think I got the Eagles winning this game. More so I got the. Well, I don't know. Well, when y'all ask, let me think about it. Y'all can say.
I got the Eagles winning by 3 touchdowns.
You got the Eagles winning 3 touchdowns?
Well, let's
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't see Dak Prescott carrying the Cowboys without Zeke.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening.
Okay, I got my prediction. I got the Eagles winning. The reason why I got the Eagles winning, because I hope the Eagles win because it'll make the Cowboys lose. It'll make the Redskins' chances of making it to at least a wild card
better.
A very, very high percentage. So,
but that's if the Redskins win this week.
They got to win this game, though.
They got to win this game.
They got to win this game too. But if they don't lose this game, if they lose this game, God forbid, if they lose this game, I don't really care at this point.
Yeah.
Who wins? But
I have the Eagles winning regardless.
I have Eagles winning. I will have the Eagles winning at least by 7 to 10 points. 27, 17.
I mean, this is all about who Dak Prescott really is.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not really his coming out party because he.
I mean, he's gonna play. I mean, when Adrian Claiborne was sacking him 6-7 times, I mean, the Eagles no joke too. Their defense is really good too. So he's gonna have some hitters coming at him. So
I think Eagles are gonna win by at least a touchdown.
By a touchdown. Okay, now. I think I seen this on First Take today, so I was thinking like maybe I should bring it up in the show. They were saying like, who if you had to start a team and you have the quarterback, who would you have?
I saw that too. Carson Wentz or Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott. Who would you?
Carson Wentz.
You have Carson Wentz. Why you have Carson Wentz?
He's shown that he's better on the deep ball. Dak Prescott
I mean,
Part of the
throw
reason he
deep
did
ball.
so well is because he could hand it to Ezekiel Elliott off last year. He didn't have to throw it as much.
Yeah.
I mean, he had flashes of brilliance, but Carson Wentz, he threw it a lot more, and he knows what he's doing. So I'd say Carson Wentz would probably be the better choice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Carson Wentz is a good all-around player because he can do a deep ball, short ball, a little run here and there.
Yeah.
Trick plays. Whereas like Dak Prescott, he had a great year last year, and he relies on Zeke too much, and like I feel like he's a little bit inconsistent. Would you say?
Dak Prescott?
I mean, I don't know. It's like
I don't know if he's consistent. I mean, I think he's just okay. He's just he's pretty much a game manager. He's throwing
he's not great, and
dunks.
he's not
If it's 3rd and 9, you already know he's gonna throw it to Jason Witten. You know, if it's
Jason Witten, he's also got Dak Prescott, and Cole Beasley is okay.
Cole Beasley is okay. I mean, Des Bryant, he's probably regressed throughout the years, but he's still okay. You know, I think I would have Carson Wentz as well. I mean, I think the guy, he's a 6'5", 230. It's hard to sack him. He's a big guy. It's hard to sack him. When it's 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, he's going to come out and sling the ball and get a touchdown or first. I mean, he's going to convert a first down. The guy can run as well. He's a very athletic guy. So I got Carson Wentz as well. So.
I'm just thinking that it's pretty cool as to how he's having such a great year and
at this point he's pretty much MVP.
Yeah, he is easily.
He's MVP.
He's out of North Dakota State.
North Dakota State guy. He's
not even an FBS school.
Well, North Dakota State did win 5 consecutive championships for the FCS.
Yeah, so you have to take that into account.
They ain't playing nobody though. They played with Jacksonville State and who else? Like North Dakota.
They've played some pretty good FBS teams, but FCS has been pretty strong recently.
Right. Yeah, you got a point there.
Well, they won 5 straight until Jamie won last year.
Yeah. They won last year. Yeah.
Probably gonna win again this year.
Most likely, yeah.
James Madison currently at 10-0. They're going in to play 8-2 Elon tomorrow. So.
Oh, okay.
Probably gonna be for the CAA title.
Yeah. So last matchup game we got is Falcons versus the Seahawks. Falcons came off a great win against Cowboys. So they might be, they probably got their swagger back a little bit going into this game. Seahawks got a lot of injuries though. With Earl Thomas out now, Richard Sherman is out for the year with tore his Achilles. So I mean, they just signed back Brian Maxwell. He was with the Dolphins, and now he was with the Eagles, and now he's back with the Seahawks. The Legion booming looking like it's not booming no more. So I mean,
I think it was just a 1-year thing.
It was like a 2-year thing.
Yeah, 2-year thing.
Because they won the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. So
yeah, that's what
no, they actually lost it at the goal line. Malcolm Butler.
Yeah. You can't.
Yeah. I mean, but they did make it to the Super Bowl. So it wasn't the defense's fault that they
It was just the play call.
It was just a bad play call. So yeah, so they will never live it down. So it seems like ever since that game they haven't been the same. So yeah. But and it's that Seahawks. So me personally, it's hard to lose. It was hard to win it at. I mean, the Wrestling did it, but it's hard to do it at that stadium.
Very rarely does it happen.
They
have
rare.
One of the best fan bases.
It's loud.
It's really loud.
It's very loud. So I got the Seahawks winning this game. I say close game too. I got a close game. I got it 20-17. I've been saying 17. A lot of numbers. That's the last prediction I had, everything was 17. But I got 20-17, 23-20.
I have the Seahawks winning by 10.
Seahawks by 10?
Yeah.
Oh, I
don't know. I mean, it's at their home field. So
yeah.
We'll see what happens. I mean, it's a good matchup. Got 2 good teams, but I mean, I got them winning by 10.
Right.
24-14.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
What you got, Pete? Who you got winning?
I think if the Falcons get a good start, I mean, last year they went there and took them down to the wire.
Right.
Yeah.
I think if they get a good start, I think win there, but I do think Seattle will win by 2.
2 points?
It'll be a very close game.
A layup.
Winning by a safety.
A layup or something.
I don't know. Maybe somebody went for a 2-point conversion or something. I don't know.
Most likely. Yeah. You never know. Well, it looks like we're done with the NFL part now. We're on to the NBA and the Celtics. They 14-2. Nobody's seen this coming. After that Gordon Hayward injury, nobody's seen them winning 14 straight games.
I thought it was it for them.
I think everybody did. They were 0-2, and now they won 14 straight.
No, I think They're 5 wins away from their franchise record as well, 19 wins.
Yeah. I think that was like
straight.
2010, 09. It was like not too long ago.
Don't know. But yeah, they had a pretty signature win last night.
Yeah, last night against the world champions of Golden State, 92 to 88 game.
They held them to their season low output, 88 points.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I was watching that game and they had Steph Curry on clamps. That boy was not scoring nothing.
What was his final score?
I think it was like he had like 8, 9 points.
Barely anything.
Kevin Durant wasn't really. I mean,
well,
overall,
Kevin Durant was the best of him, Steph and Klay Thompson. But
yeah.
it wasn't really.
I mean, they were up, but the thing is, though, the Warriors were up throughout the whole game. They were up by like, especially in the first half, about like 10, 11 points throughout the whole game, and they just came back and won. So
yeah.
I mean, the Celtics came back and won. Jaylen Brown, he played good. 22 points, I think, like 7 rebounds. Yeah, I mean, it was
I think in like the last 5 minutes of the game, Kyrie Irving, if I'm not mistaken, outscored like the entire Warriors team, like 11 and 10 or something like that.
Yeah, he pretty much stepped up during the crunch time of the game.
Yeah,
he's a really good player.
Really good player. So yeah,
he played without his mask too.
I remember he had his mask on, then he just took it out. So
yeah.
So it's great for them.
We'll see if the Celtics are for
yeah,
real later in the year when the Cavs come into form.
Yeah, when the Cavs come into form, because they just now, they seem like they got their swagger back too. They look like they won like 3 straight games.
They won a couple of games this week, so they had that big comeback against the
Knicks. That was a great game. I remember watching that game a little bit, and it's
I did
crazy.
Not see that one.
It was like they were up by like 20 something, and LeBron just said, "You know what? Forget this. Let me just take over.
It's our game now.
It's our game." And he pretty much did it. He pretty much made a shot over the unicorn and Kristaps Porzingis, and
7 foot.
just shot right in his mouth. So that was crazy. And then I think after the game, he put on Instagram saying he's the king of New York. So I mean, that's kind of blasphemy. You gotta like cool out with that.
You can't.
LeBron, you gotta chill out. You can't be that's mad disrespectful.
It was just
that.
one game.
You do that one game. You gotta come on, cool it.
Like maybe at the end of the year if you beat him in the playoffs or something. But
Yeah, so
He did sweep him in the year of Linsanity.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
but that's back then. We're talking now.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, but they're playing really good. So I mean, we'll see if they can, make a run and get to that point. Detroit also has been playing really good. Surprisingly, they're 10-3. They're just like a couple games behind the Celtics.
Yeah.
And Golden State's playing good, and LeBron is playing really well. And I mean, overall, it seemed like this season is up and swing. I think Chris Paul just came back, and
I think he had 10 points, 11 assists, or something like that.
Yeah.
He played pretty well, and actually, the Rockets scored like 142 points.
They had 90 points in the first half.
I know.
90.
Yeah.
90 points in the first half. James Harden had 48 points
in the entire game.
I mean, they was not missing.
The most points a team has scored this season so far.
That's like All-Star game numbers right there. That's crazy. That's crazy.
All-Star game, yeah. That's
really crazy. And I think a couple days ago, Joel Embiid, he had a really good game too. He had like 46 points, like 15.
Yeah, quite the game.
He had a really good game.
He might be one of the the main guys of the 76ers for years to come.
Right. So I mean, they playing. Lonzo has been playing terrible. I mean, do y'all think he's a bust?
Yes.
Wow.
I explained it last time I was on here. I thought he was overrated.
I mean,
I don't know if he's overrated. I just think his time is yet to come.
I mean, I think it's his confidence a little bit shot with his jump shot. He's not really getting to the basket, trying to create fouls.
I don't know if you can be such a great player with your dad like shadowing over you like the entire.
That's what he's a target. So every time a point guard plays against him, they're really hyped to play.
They just want to take him out.
They want to take him out. So, I mean,
I think
it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure with Lonzo.
He's gonna have good games and bad games, but to me,
it's part of the game.
I think he's somewhat a bust.
I don't know. It's 13, 12 games in the season. Like we gotta chill. We gotta chill a little bit.
To me, I don't think that he's gonna have no like record-breaking career or none of that stuff. I don't think he's gonna go to the Hall of Fame like his dad might wish that he could.
He's gonna make a couple All-Star games. More like he's a good player. He's a really good player. He just not having a good shooting. His shooting percentage has been bad, terrible. His jump shot has not been going in. he's not driving to the basket. He's only like averaging like a free throw a game, so he's not really getting to the free throw line. If you play aggressive and get to the free throw line, you can get points from there, and your confidence go up to the point where you can, facilitate to your teammates and also make jump shots because your confidence is there. But he's not doing that. He's just kind of just going with the flow.
Pass it around. I mean, look for the better shot. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I mean, Jordan has been playing really good. I mean, speaking with the 76ers, Ben Simmons been playing good. He's pretty much the unanimous All-Star. I mean, not All-Star, Rookie of the Year. So, yeah, he's been playing good. And also talking about UCLA and Lonzo Ball and everything, LiAngelo and the two other players that got in trouble for the stealing the glasses. They're black in the States, and they're suspended indefinitely. They just suspended indefinitely. What was your reaction to that? Like, do you think they should have been expelled, suspended maybe like halfway through the year? What y'all's reaction to that?
Well, you gotta make sure if the charges are actually warranted, and according to Ball's apology, I'm guessing they are.
Yeah.
And then you gotta figure it out from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because it's President Trump. You
got to take into account that it happened in a different country.
That's what
different
it is.
Rules in a communist country.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time,
China.
China. Yeah, and then President Trump. He pretty much, from what he's saying, is like, he was pretty much the reason why they back in the States because they could have faced like 10 years in jail.
Yeah,
so,
it was close.
It was close, and then. But I think my issue with this whole thing is that I feel like the reason why this is such a big news is because of LeVar Ball. I think it's LeVar Ball's fault that it's such a big, like,
news.
It
would still be quite big anyway. Like,
what do you mean
NCAA players go to China and steal stuff. Why would that not be big?
I just feel like if it was like a regular, like 3 players that's in like some regular 3 players on the team, they want to be. You see the video of them leaving the airport and paparazzi flashing everywhere. It's like it was crazy. There wasn't really
stars or something.
They wasn't talking to the other 2 players. They were asking them about, did you still have the glasses? Like they was asking LiAngelo, like, LiAngelo, you still have the glasses in your suitcase? Do you still have where's the glasses at?
They want all the information.
Yeah, they was asking all these stuff. I just feel like it would have been news. I'm not saying it wouldn't have been news if it wasn't LiAngelo Ball that, like, if it was like another college, like let's say like maybe another college, like players that was in another college that did this, right, in China.
Yeah.
I don't think this would have been big news. I don't think ESPN will be talking about this for 3 days straight.
If it's the Ball player.
That's why I'm saying it's like, because LeVar Ball has been putting a target on his sons as far as with LaMelo, Lonzo, and LiAngelo. I feel like it's his fault. I think it's not his fault that they did what LiAngelo did. It's not LeVar Ball's fault.
Yeah, because sure it was their decision.
It was their decision. Because they're young, they're 18 years old, 19 years old. So they, at that age, you're gonna do some things that that's childish, I guess. So, but I feel like the reason I think is LeVar Ball's fault that it's such a big news because of what he did he's already said outlandish things about Lonzo. And saying that he's better than Steph Curry and he'll beat Michael Jordan 1-on-1.
That's too much.
It's just too much. I feel like
way too high expectations.
You saying that it's
going to affect their whole careers.
Yeah, that's why it makes so much. That's why it was such big news that LiAngelo Ball did. I'm telling you, if it was another college,
it wouldn't be anywhere close to the same.
If another college that was in China, like who they play in China when they
played Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech. Let's say Georgia Tech. Yeah. Georgia Tech players. 3 Georgia Tech players did that in China. They will talk about it for like a day or 2.
And then
get over it. They still talking about it now. That's
and
what I'm saying.
They're going to continue to talk about it forever.
They're going to continue talking about it. That's why I feel like I'm not saying it's LeVar Ball's. It was not LeVar Ball's fault that he got that he took that the glass was stolen. But I feel like it's his fault that it's such big news and people's talking about it, and
it will still be big.
And it's even bigger news. It's even bigger news now because President Trump was involved in the whole thing. So, and you know how he is with media and all that. So,
I mean, to me, I think they should be suspended for the whole season.
I don't know.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
No, I think.
See if they get convicted. If they get convicted of the crime. If so, kick them out of the university.
Exactly, get them expelled from the.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But I mean, they just sold glasses. There's a lot of players that Just like, I mean, look, Joe Mixon slapped a girl in a bar. He still played the same year.
That's not fair.
That's not fair.
That's not fair at all.
He wasn't convicted.
Yeah, both wasn't convicted for what they did. I mean, he admitted.
Well, they haven't gone to trial in Leanne Bilal case.
Yeah, that's true.
Not yet.
Not yet, but still, I mean, he's not gonna. I mean, they were saying even prior to that, the most he was gonna get was probably house arrest.
I think it probably would have been a little bit bigger deal if they stole like some like actually like Chinese food or something instead of just like some glasses.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I got you on that. Yeah, that makes sense. But I just feel like it's this. There's people that do a lot more worse than what those three, like LiAngelo and those two players did.
Yeah.
And they still play, and they probably got to spend at least 5-10 games. They didn't get kicked out.
It's not Duke because then indefinite means one game.
Yeah.
Grayson
Allen and all that.
I forgot about that because what he was going through in his head. So
I think down the road, once this is all said and done, these three players are gonna look back on this.
They're gonna regret it. They're gonna regret what they did.
They're gonna regret it with everything.
What they did was dumb, So, but it's still. I'm just saying, like, if the most they should get is 10 games, maybe 5 to 10 games, because they did it in China, they did it in a communist country. You don't do that. So I see 5 to 10 games they get suspended, but after that, get it over with. It's over with. But there's college players that do way worse than what they did, and they get suspended the same, and they don't get expelled from the team. They're back in the team. It's a lot different at other places. What I mean? Joe Mixon was out there.
University of Virginia would not stand for that.
Of course. Joe Mixon was out there, committed domestic violence. Jameis Winston allegedly raped somebody in college as well. He played throughout the year.
He has just been accused of indecent contact in
an
Uber.
Yeah, with Uber driver. They say he groped a girl in the Uber driver. The Uber driver.
Jameis Winston's a train wreck.
Yeah, the guy out here stealing crab legs. Like, what
crab
are you
legs.
doing, fool?
Yes, I remember that one.
Also, who else I can think of? I mean, even when Cam Newton was in Auburn, and they were saying he was taking money.
I'm saying his dad's like, give me all the money and I'll let you go there.
And he let you go there. And he was
These
still playing.
These incidents go on and on.
He's not getting suspended for that. These are things that they did. This guy just stole some glasses. So chill out. It's over.
You got to remember all the UNC stuff that ended up with nothing.
Yeah.
That whole 7-year investigation for all.
Yeah. So all that you're talking about is over with. Just forget about it. It's over with. Let's just move on from it.
Yeah.
Stop talking about it. It's over with. They did a mistake. I think they did a mistake. They had an apology. They apologized for what they did. Now it's over with. Now we can all just move on.
Made a mistake. They're gonna learn from it.
Of course.
And
they better
see what their punishment is.
Yes, but speaking of college, a little bit of college basketball. Who do y'all have? I mean, it's still early in the year, but who the teams y'all see like making the light in the Final Four? Who y'all got?
I do not see Kentucky. Kentucky has been very questionable.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're only they're ranked 7th this year.
Kentucky beat Vermont by 4 points.
It was close. Close game.
That was very close.
They also beat Utah Valley by 10, and they were down by 9 at halftime.
Yeah, but Utah Valley, they're scheduling Duke, Kentucky. They're scheduling some monster teams.
Yeah.
All the way over there. I mean,
I see Duke. I got Duke.
Maybe.
I got Kansas. Michigan State is good too, and I still got UNC. UNC always finds a way to win. I don't know about because Joel Berry, he's out, right? He hurt his wrist.
He's out for half of the year.
He punched something after he lost a game of 2K or Madden or something like that.
Yeah, something stupid.
Idiot. And then they also got another UNC. It was another one of their big players, Cameron Johnson. He's injured and out for a while with a neck injury or something.
Yeah. So
we'll see how UNC does.
Yeah, but I think that's pretty much who I can think of. Alabama's gonna be a good team too. They got I forgot this guy that's I think Sexton. I think that's his last name. He's
yeah.
He was part of the money scandal, so
yeah.
He might not even play.
Yeah, he's not. He's kind of he's ineligible. He's spent the first game.
Yeah,
and I think he's gonna play this game. But he's gonna be a top 10 pick in the draft this year. He's really good. He's playing.
They are also thinking of erasing the one and done rule. They've actually gone into the whole thing. The one and done rule is one of the travesties of college basketball.
Literally, the definition
if you don't want to stay in college, just go straight from high school.
The definition of the one and done rule is Kentucky.
I really hope they change.
Duke is also a pretty big offender on it too.
Yeah.
But that's the thing though. Because at first Duke during that time they wasn't trying to get players like that. They wanted players that was going to be there for 4 years. straight
But
4 years.
not anymore, though.
Not anymore. Now they got one and dones. They got Jaleel Okafor, Brandon Ingram. Now, obviously, Marvin Bagley, the third.
college experience.
Yeah, Marvin Bagley, the third, is going to be a one and done guy. I mean, that's what they do.
I think it should be 2 years.
That's the thing.
At least 2 years, because
least
college
2
you can't leave after football. You can't leave after
3.
your first year.
Yeah.
At least go at least 2 years or 3 years.
Yeah.
Preferably, I just make them stay until all 4 because college education is also very important in there.
Yeah, but
These guys not.
They're not going to stay all 4 though. I
don't
mean, if they're super good, then they're just gonna.
That's the thing. The rules should have been stay if you come out of high school and you want to go to the NBA, go to the NBA. But they should play in the G League. Play the G League for a year.
Yes.
But if you want to play, if you want to go to college, to be there for at least 2 years. They should have been did that. They should have kept, or they should have just kept the rule as it is from what it was before that, and have them players just come straight out of high school and play in the league. It could have been did that. So.
I mean, I think LeBron is the exception because he was like super.
LeBron, Kevin Garnett,
all those guys going
Kobe.
straight.
I mean,
But there's no one and done rule back then.
there's a lot of players that were one and dones that were not. It's not good.
I mean,
There's a whole lot
Malcolm
of-
Brogdon, he did
Like
4 years,
He did
Yeah.
4 years.
and he wins Rookie of the Year.
He won Rookie of
He
the
gets
Year.
more experience just because you come out,
They
you do
all-
1 year does not mean that you're guaranteed to be a good player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of one and done.
If you take if you decide to stay there and keep playing, trying to get better, then
Exactly, but there's a lot of players that were there maybe more than 1 year, and they have great careers. Harrison Barnes, for example, was there 2 years. He's averaging 28 game. I can think of a lot of players.
Great for the Warriors.
Yeah, he was playing great for the Warriors. I mean, Steph Curry, same 3 years. He was there. He also MVP player. I mean, there's a lot of players that were one and dones and they played well. Of course, like Kevin Durant,
Yeah.
John Wall, Boogie, Cousins. I mean, there's a lot, but there's a lot of players that came that were one and dones and not as good as well. There's a bevy of them. With Anthony Bennett. Who else I can think of? Michael Kidd, Gilchrist.
Yeah. all the like name brand guys.
Yeah, they're not that good. Like so.
But to me,
That one and done rule is trash, beyond trash. Put in the dumpster.
they
It's
gotta
garbage.
kick it out right now. It has to be two or at least 2 years.
it makes it even more likely for people to
Right.
cheat in there because they can put in like less money. They're not going every year. Like, hey, we'll just instead of giving you 50,000, we'll give you 10,000.
I mean,
Because apparently that's how we work around these
If
days.
anything, at the same time, they should also, if they want to do that, they should like make players be one of that. They gotta pay them too.
Yeah.
So you gotta do that. You have to. It has to be some sort of compensation. You have to.
It'll be a big issue for years to come.
Yeah, man. Yep. So I think that's so far for that. We don't got no NHL news for y'all. Sorry.
Yeah,
It's not a lot of things.
bring
Like
some-
anybody cares.
No, really though. We
I
don't
know,
want,
it's
I don't think
kinda-
I think it's. I don't think we're gonna do no more NHL news for you guys. I don't
Probably
think,
not.
probably not. It's not. This. I
You
think
should call us.
Maybe
up
once you
if
get to the playoffs.
once
maybe
the playoffs.
Yeah.
Once
Yeah.
the playoffs start up, we'll talk about it. But when it's regular
I'm
season,
gonna
I might
say
talk about
if you want NHL news, you should call us up.
If you do, but if anything, just watch Barry Melrose on ESPN. You know the guy with the
Yeah, he knows
slick
what
hair
he's
from the back?
doing.
That guy is the only one that pretty much cares about hockey throughout the whole year. So that's pretty much it. But outside of that, we'll probably talk about it towards maybe like next semester after during.
Once it gets closer
Yeah,
to
once
the
it
end of the regular season.
once we get the
it's
regular
more
season, we'll talk
important.
about it. But not maybe.
Or
not
maybe
more.
once a key guy gets hurt or
More
something.
than likely, yeah. But I think that will be it for y'all.
Yeah,
We'll do that.
anyways.
So we'll see. But I think so far we good, right? The show, putting the show to a close.
I think
All
we're
right.
pretty good.
Yeah, I think we're good now. Thank you, Tim. I mean, I keep calling this guy Tim. Y'all both look alike. I'm sorry. So
What?
I'm joking.
No, we don't.
My bad. Pete, thank you again for being on the show. Anytime.
Thank you for having me again.
You're always welcome to be here, man. Appreciate you, man. Now, thank you guys, everybody, for listening Inside the Huddle. Please listen again for next week. I'll bring you more.
Well, actually,
another update.
may or may not be
wow.
next week.
Next
bad.
week is Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. We won't
so-
be here.
Gotta
gotta eat
give
down.
a shout out and happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there,
Everybody.
all the families, the
Yup.
students, and all
Thank-
that. Have a great break.
Yup.
And
Hey, shout out my peoples back home. I'll see y'all Monday. I'll be back home Monday. My parents, my sister, my brothers. I see y'all in a couple weeks. We'll be going to be playing 2K all week. y'all gonna get this work. Y'all gonna get this work. I'm telling you. So I'll see y'all later. Everybody, y'all have a great Thanksgiving break. Stay blessed.
And we'll give you some more updates soon.
Yep.
We're back from this break.
Go Monarchs, everybody.
Go Monarchs.
Let's get it.